indigestion,
Just like the dog.
diarrhea, upset stomach, Pepto-Bismol. Right?
Okay.
Upset
Okay.
stomach, diarrhea.
What's up, Mac? You just looking straight at me.
I know. He's intense.
You know what? We're doing this for him. People like him.
Hi, Mac. Mac Miller's on the TV in front of us.
People like him who go through a feeling of suffering and loneliness and don't feel like they have anybody who is a safe space for them to help them to process things, to feel like they are loved. Like I was telling you earlier, my goal is to love so deeply, to have such a non judgmental space that, and I've already achieved this with everybody that I've ever kind of existed with
Mm-hmm.
in recent years.
Well, you said that you basically confirmed that as a coach, you're basically like the perfect spouse or best friend. Can you elaborate on what that looks like?
Yeah, the word spouse is really interesting, right? Because I'm working with men and I am a woman. And so it's like it does model the sort of relationship that I think most men desire or think they're going to get out of their significant other. And therefore, they try to force that relationship, and the significant other is not the right person to talk about most of these things with
Mm-hmm.
because the significant other is not prepared. Her entire opinion of you might change. It's going to put strain on your relationship that doesn't need to be there. And it might like make you feel shameful of yourself
Mm-hmm.
depending on how your partner reacts to those things.
Which would make it harder to open up.
Yeah. And then it just becomes like this downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And alternatively, me as a coach with that safe, loving, feminine energy, I get to step in and kind of fill that role, which never should have been the significant other in the first place, but somebody who is not only trained but also well versed, seasoned, experienced for 18 years on how to help people do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like the results from that are way more impactful than the results that you would get from talking to any of your friends or your significant others or your family or even just a random stranger because they don't know, first of all, the questions to ask you.
Yeah.
They don't know how to hold space for you non judgmentally.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to love you unconditionally without needing to receive something in return from you.
Yeah. Definitely.
I've been in so many situations, even with other coaches and therapists, in conversations where it was an open, safe space where we were allowed to coach each other and kind of like perform therapy with each other. And the questions that I had asked were so profoundly different from the people around me that they were saying to me, "Wow, Kirsty, that was a great question." And that was the question that triggered the entire transformation to get to the conclusion. Like
Hell yeah.
time and time and time again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people are looking for that validation and like connection with the person that they're opening up with. So, I mean, typically they want that from their significant other or somebody else who they really trust, like a best friend. But if somebody doesn't have that as a healthy outlet, then I guess that could definitely be a good option to have a coach.
Yeah. Somebody especially being men,
Yeah.
because I think men so
Fear
deeply,
judgment.
I mean, yes, they fear judgment, but I was going to say kind of more on the positive end, they so deeply want to be seen as the strong, healthy,
Right.
happy, capable,
Right.
playful, fun, evolved. I said capable already.
King. She was gonna say king.
King. I think they want to be seen as that so badly that even in the time when they're about to even take this step into like, well, let me try to create this deeper emotional intimacy by sharing my deepest, darkest kind of struggles.
Hmm.
In that moment, I think so many men have hesitated and backed out and been like,
Hmm.
how is this going to change everything?
Yeah, because they're afraid that the spouse is going to internalize what they're saying and then be like, oh my God, did I cause this? What's wrong with me? Are we okay? Can I trust this? So then everybody's like whoa, on edge. Or, like you said in the beginning, alluding to the fact that they just don't want to be seen as like weak, especially by their spouse
Yeah,
or somebody that's important in their life, even though it's not weak.
totally.
It's not weak.
I mean,
It's strong.
in my last two relationships, I so desperately wanted my partner to feel safe and comfortable to open up to me,
Yeah.
but they would not allow themselves to because rightfully so, it wasn't the right space for them. Like
Yeah.
they needed support that I couldn't give them as the invested party. What would that be called?
Yeah.
Biased?
Yeah. And I've been guilty of that as well. Like somebody opens up to me and then I accidentally kind of internalize it, or it just like, but that's me. I have my own anxieties. But it does happen, and I have been a producer of that outcome accidentally. But I've become more aware of it and I try not to, because like obviously I would want someone to do the same for me. Like I am opening up to you not with like any sort of complaining or any sort of anything that's towards you if you're my spouse. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I got lost there. But like basically, I would be opening up with the comfortability that like I'm not going to get judged,
Yeah.
or like the intention of like no judgment. So I would want to be able to do the same for somebody else too, so that they
Mm.
could feel as safe as they make me feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And like it's not going to affect your future relationship with that person.
Right. Yeah. It's just like an open, deep discussion that is, a safe space for everybody to just talk about whatever they want to talk about.
Exactly. Whatever they want to talk about, whether
Mm-hmm.
that is past, present, or future. Yeah, there
Ooh.
we go. Because
PPO.
honestly, like therapists, what do? They work solely with you on your past. Like
Yeah.
in my 8 years of therapy, not a single one of them worked with my present or my future. They just worked with my past.
I will say though, I've had therapists work. Well, you know what? My last therapist, shout out to her. She was amazing. Literally amazing.
Yeah.
I love her. And I was about to throw some shade and say that she talked a lot about my present when I wanted her to talk about my past. But then thinking back, I was with her for like 3 years and she talked about, we dealt with the stuff in the past and we dealt with the stuff in the present, which actually helped me learn how to deal with stuff in the future, because obviously you don't know what's going to happen in the future, but she gave me enough tools based on what was happening in the present, because that might be similar to the future,
Mm,
leading into,
totally.
to deal with it, and that was very
Okay,
helpful.
so yeah, you had a really
I
great
had a great
experience. That is
therapist.
awesome. But I think, you know, one of the things that draws me to coaching is literally like, okay, let's forge a path forward.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move forward. Because I think so many
Yeah.
people are like kind of drowning.
Yes, in a cycle
Yeah.
of
And
triggers.
they're stuck totally either in the past or with fear and anxiety about the future, which keeps them stuck in the present or the past. And it's like, okay, how do we move through that? How do we bust down the barrier
Yeah.
so that we actually can grow and achieve the beautiful, tranquil harmony of
Of life.
just literally being in peace?
Mm-hmm. Like I said, life is meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah, and we can't enjoy it if we're too afraid.
Yeah.
Like,
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
totally.
Word. Going back to the Mac Miller thing, I don't know. Wait, did you watch Euphoria? Remember? Oh no, I
Oh,
told
I
you not to because it
couldn't.
was too triggering.
It was very triggering. But
Yes.
when you said something, I just had an Usher song go off in my head.
Which one?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. Do do
Yeah,
do do
yeah.
do do. Okay, Mac Miller and Euphoria.
Anyways, no, he's not in Euphoria.
Oh, well, obviously. It was and, not in.
Okay.
R.I.P.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, this is morbid.
Oh my god. I love Mac Miller. Okay. Anyways, Angus Cloud, I think his name is. Forgive me for not knowing his name, but Fezco in Euphoria. Do you remember him?
No. I watched
Okay.
like 2 episodes and I
Oh.
freaked out.
Well, he was basically Zendaya's drug dealer, and but he was a good dude and he was like falling in love with the other girl. Holy cow, I haven't watched it in a long time. I forget her name.
I
Oh
mean, it
my
was like
gosh. Cassie's sister.
Pandemic era.
I know. I also did rewatch it recently, but it triggered me really bad.
Mm.
Anyways, but I will. Okay, back to my story. So Angus Cloud, he overdosed because his father passed away, I think was what I read. He was having a hard time dealing with it. And then, literally, the director, I believe, producer, passed away as well,
Mm.
unexpectedly. So I'm like, are they going to come out with another season? That's not the important part. The important part is
Oh,
that
the actual
Angus,
actor, not
yes,
the
the
character.
actual actor.
Oh,
That's what I'm
wow.
saying.
Gotcha.
So I'm coming, but it's another like Mac Miller type of situation, like overdose, sadness, deep sadness. Like
Yeah.
it just, it's heartbreaking because I know he was just a character on Euphoria, but he was like, seemed like a good dude. And obviously it's sad for anybody. It doesn't really matter if they're a good dude or not.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the hardest thing for me is like, I think humans have such a hard time coping with death because we're so afraid of it, but we don't take the time to create our own understanding and connection with it.
but on the flip side, I always think because I've been in dark, 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 dark spaces. So I'm always like, I'm kind of guess maybe I didn't let myself get into that dark of a place where I was like so comfortable with death that I could meet it face to face. And obviously I'm grateful I didn't, but like I always am like, I wonder what is going through their mind before they just get to
Yeah.
that point. Because it's like I just can't imagine. Like you're like looking death in the face and being like, okay, here I am, take me.
Yeah.
Like that is so, and I think like a lot of people struggle with that. I know a lot of people struggle with that. I've saved many lives
Yeah. I
over
mean,
the,
we both have been very close to people who have been in that realm and been very close ourselves.
yeah. And I saved many lives. I'm talking like three people, but honestly, three is three too many.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like it's more common than we think, especially after the pandemic. Everybody is like, oh my God, how do I be a human? So it's definitely prevalent.
We're scared, we're alone, we're afraid.
There's actually, am I the queen of fun facts right now?
I guess so. Here's your crown.
And I don't even know if I'm correct. So if anyone facts checks me, I'm really sorry. I'm trying my best to retain information that I've read. Um, Something about, I think it's in Japan. There's like a city that is paying its residents like $200 a month to stop being antisocial, to like actually go out and
Mm.
interact with the community after COVID because people are like suffering from loneliness and suicide is very prevalent in Japan. So,
I'd be really interested to hear studies about, or just any sort of information about how the people who have taken that money and gone out in society and connected, how they feel. Because almost every single time I talk to anybody after going to an event and connecting with people,
mhm.
whether it be people they know or strangers, they're like, I feel so much better.
Yeah, it's like a breath
That
of
is
fresh
what I
air.
needed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
humans need connection, whether we think so or not, whether we want to or not.
Right.
Humans literally need connection for survival. We
And
didn't live alone, we lived in villages.
yeah, always. And not just connection with your dog, your cat, like
Yeah,
it's connection with another
human
human.
connection. Yes, human connection. You should put a trigger warning on this and post the suicide hotline below in the description, wherever you post this. Okay. I've seen other podcasters do
I'm
that.
actually really curious, like just posting the suicide hotline, how much,
People call it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because to be a completely vulnerable and honest with you, every single person that I've talked to that was close to suicide and myself, when I was contemplating, there was literally, if somebody would have been like, here, let me help you, like call this number, I would have been like, no.
Yeah, I know.
And even the people who I have called 911 on to get them the help, they were like, I didn't want
Yeah,
that.
nobody ever wants to help, but in the end, they typically thank you for it. Not always, but and even if they tell you to your face that they don't thank you for it, because I've had that too. I've had somebody very close to me tell me, I will never forgive you for saving me. And honestly, I bet down the line, the fact that they never attempted again, there's a part of them that's grateful. And I don't have to know that they're grateful. I don't have to hear that they're grateful. I don't even care if they're grateful. That's fine. If you don't even want to admit that, that's fine. because I did what I knew had to be done. There's no reason to like let anybody slip that deep into a dark hole of sadness.
Yeah. We're really not ever that alone. We just think we're alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I also seen studies and heard people say how like when people jump off a bridge to kill themselves or something like that, they immediately regret it. Like on the way down, they regret it, but there's no stopping, you know. A lot of people or majority of people have said that they regret it
Mm.
because in that moment it's like, wait, oh my god.
Okay, this is getting really dark.
Okay.
This is not where I intended to take this at all. And honestly, if somebody does come to me and is suicidal, I am absolutely not the qualified person to help them. I will assist them in getting where they need to go, but I have no, I don't know. I have helped many of people, but I have no
Mm-hmm.
desire to do that professionally. I want
Mm-hmm.
to do the work of like, let's get you from okay to great, or like good to better to
Yeah.
great. Like, I want to operate in that realm because I just don't want to hold space and capacity for that work anymore. I've reached the sort of octave where I can like pull people further up into the light. Whereas, like, previously when I started, I was literally in the bottom of the well with people,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I am committed to getting you the help that you need if you are there. But I'm like just in a different realm.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time when people are that low, they need like emergency immediate help.
Yeah.
So, and then once they get past that point, that's when you can kind of step in. And it's like, because usually they're motivated to, make a change
Yeah. Literal psychiatrists and like potentially mood changing drugs, as much as I hate saying that, but
if they're necessary.
sometimes it's needed.
Yeah. Yeah. No shame.
Totally no shame.
Do what you got to do. Life is rough.
But I do
It
want
can
to
be great
say
though.
it can be great. So I like to picture like a seesaw. I don't know how to make. Okay, so like the middle point of the seesaw is right here where my
Cuff of your
seam.
sleeve is.
Yeah, the cuff of my sleeve. So like if you're down here feeling the depths of despair and like suicidal ideations and like really really deep dark sad emotions, the potentiality for you to experience ultimate euphoria in all points of your life is just as equally possible. From this point, we live in a world called like of a dualistic nature, a world of duality, which means that the opposites are possible at all times. So, like, my goal is to get you all the way up here so that that is your norm, because I myself have gone there from spending my teenage years with suicidal ideations every single day to now like literally waking up with so much joy and love in my heart. I'm like shocked and surprised every day at like, oh my God, it's so good. And it just keeps getting better. And it's not like I have millions of dollars in the bank. I don't have my dream car. I'm not in like this perfect, wonderful family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have everything external yet, but it is all in here.
Yeah,
And
but
we can all get there.
that takes a lot of realization because you have to remember every day the positives because your brain is going to be so used to focusing on the negatives every day.
Oh, it's not easy when you first start, but that's
Right.
exactly why I say it is such a great investment for you to find the right person who will
Yeah.
help you along the way, whether it be a therapist, a coach, a doctor, whatever. I think, like it took me 18 years to go from the journey from here to here. And when you get the right help,
Yeah.
you literally can transform so quickly
Yeah.
because time is an
Yeah.
illusion.
I transformed in 3 years for sure. I transformed in the last year, even more than I did in the first 3 years.
You've had a lot of really good help.
I have had a lot of really good help. um, but I was gonna say that my therapist did give me one piece of advice about negative thoughts that I feel is really, really helpful because they're hard to deal with. Thinking about replacing a negative thought with a positive thought can feel like you're trying to climb Mount Everest. And sometimes it actually just feels impossible because climbing Mount Everest is possible. But sometimes it can feel worse. It can feel literally impossible. So what
Or like
she go ahead.
I was gonna say, or have like I used to have a gag reflex
Oh my God.
to
Yeah,
thinking about
kind of.
positive thoughts.
Yeah,
I would
no,
be
I get
like,
that.
"Ugh,
Yeah.
no,
No, I get that. It's like cringy. It's like, oh my God. Yeah.
like who am I to think that?"
Yeah, like I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what she told me to do, if I cannot replace a negative thought with a positive thought, is just replace it with a neutral one.
Mm.
Because that's easy. It doesn't hold any weight.
Mm.
Well, it's not easy, but it's less scary. It's
Yeah,
it's less of a climb because it
because
doesn't hold.
yeah, it's like going from 0 to 100 versus 0 to 30,
Yeah.
and then 30 to 60, and
Yeah.
then 60 to 90, and then that
Right.
last 10.
Because it's like if you can just replace like a negative thought with a neutral one, then you can start adding little positives to that. Like half of the sentence might still be neutral and end with a little positivity. And then
Mm.
it just keeps growing from there.
That's good. Honestly, I might have to add that. So I actually have a free module available. I have a course that's called Be the CEO of Your Life. And the first module I give away for free, and it literally walks people through the exact process of how you can
Reframe your
observe your
thoughts.
thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
reframe them, because we talk about it. It's like the cool mainstream thing to say, just, oh, reframe your thoughts and like think positively. And it's like, okay, well, how the do you actually do that?
Easier
What
said
does
than
it,
done.
yeah, what does it feel like? What does it look like? And literally, like, how does that happen when it's just rapid fire, like bombs going off,
Yeah.
negativity all
Or
day?
like you're drowning in your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a free module that walks people through that, and it has a little handout that goes with it, to guide you through the steps. And so the video, the module, and then practice, and I'm always available to assist. So if that is something that you are interested in, you can go to the lovemylives.ppf Instagram and get the module for free. Just saying.
Nice.
Because that's where it all starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The first step is always the hardest, though, I will say.
Totally. No sugarcoating bullshit here. Like, it will be probably the hardest thing you've ever done to this point in your life.
But the most rewarding.
Totally. High risk, high reward.
And it's like the reward never ends. You get to, you get to, what's it called? I'm gonna butcher this. Reap the seeds that you sow.
Yeah.
That's an old saying, but yeah.
You know what I'm literally thinking about? Like, it's not like during Thanksgiving, you eat all the mashed potatoes off your plate and then they're gone. It's like never ending mashed potatoes.
She's a mashed potato addict, so if you relate with her, cool.
Whatever it is for you. If it's the stuffing, the pumpkin pie, the whipped cream,
Oh,
it
whoa.
is never ending and you never get full. That's the good part. You never get full. It always is just as satiating as the first bite. Ooh, this is such a good analogy. I'm like,
True. But I'm also contradicting it in my head. I'm like, but it's not all like this a straight climb up because you're
okay,
gonna get hungry
you
again.
do, yeah, you do get full sometimes, you do get hungry sometimes, but it's like, okay,
You're not as hungry as you were, you know?
if you look at the stock market, it's literally like this. But if you zoom way out, it's like
It
this.
always still has a positive outlook. Another analogy from my wonderful therapist that I shared with you previously.
She was
Oh,
great.
go her. Tiffany, I love you.
Shout out to Tiffany.
Tiffany. I won't say her last name because she's a secret.
Best friend. But anyway, yeah. Thank you for, jumping on here and discussing that with me.
Thanks for having me. It was lovely.
I think it's so hard for people to like really get a grip and understanding of how people really are, not just on social media in the pictures, but like also in the videos and on podcasts. You really never know when people are being true and authentic,
Yeah.
or if they're like putting on a hype. I think so many people are like, okay, I got to get myself ready for the Camry. Let's go, Camry. Camera. And then they literally build themselves up like on High School Musical. Would be like, and then they're like, I'm ready. Welcome to our YouTube video today about blah blah blah. And it's like, are you real, bro?
Yeah,
Here
no,
we
I know
are
what you
just
mean.
sitting in bed. My
I'm under a
stomach's
heated blanket.
my stomach's full of mashed
It
potatoes.
literally is. Mine's full of pumpkin pie.
No more mashed potatoes until Christmas.
All right, deal.
They were so good. I gotta make them the same at Christmas.
I don't even remember what you put in
Oh,
them.
don't worry, I won't forget.
Okay.
Anywho,
Thanks for joining us.
yeah, let's play some Mac Miller now.
All right.
Okay.
Peace out.